Hit the books. I am Max.
I'm Sam.
And we have got the new comics that came out on March 20th of 2019. 6 books this week. Sam, why don't you take us right into it?
All right, so we're going to start off with the newest issue of Justice League, issue 20 by Scott Snyder.
You did it!
And George Jimenez. Yeah, I do that every time. This is a comic with a misleading cover and title. It is Battle of the Superman, and it shows them fighting on the cover, but none of that in the book.
None of that in the book. What
we get in the book is the imposter Superman introducing the whole Justice League to this sixth-dimensional world that's like void of crime. Everything is at peace. It's a good place. They meet all their doubles, or what's the opposite of a predecessor?
The Foreigners also the same. And the Descendants?
Yeah, sure. Well, those who picked up the mantle.
But I mean, some of them are the same, yeah.
Right, most of them are the same. They're doubles. But except in the case of Batman here, who is Dick Grayson is Batman in this world. Bruce Wayne heroically sacrificing his life for them.
Allegedly.
So we're led to believe.
Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if these guys even are actually...
it's probably an entire trap. Like, none of it's real.
Yeah, that's got to be completely... But let's get to the best part.
The best part...
How we almost predicted something that was going to happen a little bit.
A little bit. So we get this flash to Gotham City, and Batman is going around with his new Robin, Jarro. And it's real funny. They stop Slade.
Yeah.
Slade, right? Slade
Wilson.
Deathstroke.
Yeah.
Deathstroke, right. I always forget his supervillain name.
Right.
And that's real funny. And then Bruce, he laughs at Jarro's joke and says, "You're my favorite Robin ever." No, really, favorite Robin ever.
Right. And I don't mind when fantasy Batman's being funny.
Right? Because then we find out that Jarro's just dreaming.
Dream fantasizing about being the best Robin ever.
Yeah, which is just adorable and hilarious. And yeah, Starman and Ocean Queen.
Mira,
there we go. They're watching over him, and something's going on with the Dixel, whatever his name is. That's impossible to pronounce. He's doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, he's doing some stuff. He's reporting to somebody who's asking him to, finish the job that he said he would do. And it's, at first you kind of think that it's the Legion of Doom because it cuts to them talking about it. But no, it seems like they're just monitoring the situation and they're about to bring out their own fifth dimensional imp.
Right. I'm thinking it's probably Perpetua.
It might be Perpetua, or it could be whatever other beings are happening in the sixth dimensional thing. I think it's really weird how they're just being like, yes, in the future we all live in the sixth dimension. Does everybody live in the sixth dimension in the future? Does the population of Earth that they saved live in the sixth dimension now? Like, everything about this.
Is the sixth dimension just the future?
Right.
It's really unclear. Everybody's got different costumes. They're all hanging out. It's all right. They're having a peaceful time, but everybody's like, what's going on?
That Jarro page almost seems like it was squeezed in because they needed to have something action-y happen.
Right, because other than that, it's just what's going on.
Talkity.
Batman's wondering what happened to the villains. We don't find out what happens after that conversation.
Yeah, that's going to be bad.
Martian and Hot Girl, they find out that in this dimension they're married with children's. And they're unsettled all the same. And then their kid from this dimension tells them that none of this is real. So that's going on. A lot of stuff happens.
And so Mixer-Splitlick is busting out of the Hall of Justice. Superman is trying to escape the lightless realm, but every time he jumps, he's losing his power. So he's, in fact, getting worse at tries instead of better.
Yeah, he seems pretty chapped, but then on the last page we got this imposter Superman here, so maybe next time we'll get what this one promised, the Battle of the Superman.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I think it's very interesting that future Superman calls him Clark.
That is interesting.
Doesn't call him Kal-El. The weird factor that makes it seem like it isn't all just some weird illusion completely designed to entrap them is the Martian Manhunter kid saying, like, oh, get out of here, there's something wrong. That really does make it seem like
Right,
this is
because
some
if he
form
was
of
just
future.
part of the plot, then why
Right.
would he be doing that? No, it's true. So I give this issue a 6. It was pretty solid. Not bad.
Yeah, 6 is right for this. It's, compared to how amazing the last issue was, this one was real. Here's all the stuff that's happening.
Right, it was a talkie.
Yeah, and the fact that it was a talkie where, for sure, in the next issue, almost everything we learn is going to be completely subverted and or not be true at all.
I was thinking about that exact thing while I was reading it. Like, how much of what I'm reading right now is just going to be like, nope.
Right, exactly. So... yeah, hopefully next issue gets back on track a little bit. But yeah, big dip, in my opinion, from the previous issue for this one. Still looks good.
Still looks
Jimenez's
good.
art is fantastic. And, the Jarro page and the page where they're explaining what's happening to the multiverse with Perpetua and all that. So, like, the best look we've gotten in Perpetua, really.
Yeah, that's true.
It looks very good, so I don't want to rate it lower than that. But
yeah, if the Jarro page wasn't there, I might give it a 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jarro is turning out to be a pretty fun character.
All right, so next up we have Batman 67 by Tom King and Lee Weeks and Jorge Fornes on art, with colors by Elizabeth Brettweiser, at least on the cover.
Nice.
I always like to call out her awesome colors. But so this was a completely dialogue-free issue for the most part, where the Batman is chasing... At first, they kind of make it seem like it's going to be the Question.
Right,
but,
it looks like the Question.
But he's got like a weird thing going on with his face very early on, so you're like, that's not the Question.
Right. Is it? Nah.
What's really going on here? It's chasing him across the rooftops and through buildings, and it's all just an action-packed chase, and it's all pretty well illustrated.
Yeah.
We get a weird interlude where it turns out that we're apparently seeing the Looney Tunes universe from Tom King's Batman vs. Elmer Fudd, because they crash into the bar and the bartender Porky Pig is there and he does Porky Pig dialogue.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, had you not read that issue previously, that would be completely mystifying why this bartender was going dark
Yeah, that's interesting.
and he chases him into the sewers and they fight and punch and Batman rips the mask off and it's the Joker. And there isn't even a to be continued. It just Joker goes beep in his face with a little beepy. And it turns out that in this universe, the Joker's name was William Ernest Coyote or Wile E. Coyote.
Oh, yeah.
And he asked him why, the murder, the chase, why. He smiled and he said, beep, beep.
Oh, man.
So this was just a fucking Looney Tunes joke.
That was a Looney Tunes.
Referencing his previous Looney Tunes comics.
Wow.
Wonderfully illustrated.
Oh, yeah, it is. It was fun to go through. Not really fun to read because you didn't really read it.
Right.
Just a bunch of fun pictures telling the story.
Right, and in this case, I have to give it bonus points because Tom King held back his... he felt the urge looking at some of those pages. Like,
I can fill this.
I can fill this with that. I could do a poem here, or I could do Batman thinking about the cat, or thinking about the Question. I'm chasing the Question because there's a question.
That is true. There's no lyrical poetry forced down our throats in this one.
Right. It's a pure chase sequence. It's the Mad Max Fury Road of Batman comics.
Oh yeah.
So I think that is a solid 6.
I would also give it 6. Enjoyable.
It's fine. It was a fine read.
Well, it's a 5-minute read.
Yeah, that was my initial thought when I finished reading it. Was like, man, that took me no time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, thank God I stopped to look at some of the pictures.
Right, because it's real easy to just keep flipping. Like they're moving.
Yeah, such a great sense of motion. Looks so good.
It really does.
All right.
So next we got the newest Venom, issue 12, Donny Cates, Joshua Cassara.
Yeah, stepping in for Stegman on art, which wasn't too bad. I didn't miss Stegman a ton on this issue.
Nah, it was very similar to what we've been getting.
Right, yeah, it definitely didn't feel out of place.
Yeah. So in this issue, we got the mother of Eddie's kid. We get her story of her leaving him with Eddie's dad.
You remember Anne? from the Venom comics.
Yeah, she was the female Venom for a little while.
Exactly, because I think that's right, that's her.
Right,
Yeah.
so, and then that's how, also, I guess, how she got impregnated was the symbiote did it, using Eddie's genes that it had within itself.
Yeah,
God damn.
That is what it's saying, right?
That is what it's saying.
That is so weird. I mean, I guess you
that's-
want to explain why Eddie would, like, think that there's no way he could have a kid.
Right.
But why did you do that, Simbi?
Well, maybe maybe the symbiote wanted to have its own kid with Eddie, but is incapable of doing it by itself.
Oh, now you're starting to lean into the Eddie and symbiote shipper fandom read.
Oh God! Of course, it's actually a fandom. I don't even need to ask. I didn't think about that, but ew.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got evil Mr. Fantastic.
The Maker.
The Maker. Man, I love that name, but I cannot never remember that name.
Yeah, it's
The
not
Maker.
memorable.
Yeah, he's trying to separate the symbiote and Eddie so he can save Eddie's life or possibly kill him. We're not sure.
He really just wants the symbiote, right?
Maybe.
Like,
But it's
Eddie's
like the
abused.
symbiote breaks out and it looks like it's going after him, but he jumps away and it escapes.
It escapes, but it also managed to string him up somehow.
Right, yeah, that's true. Does he have stretchy powers?
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah, when he strings him up, it's got, like, pieces of him, like, tied off and squeezed, so
Yeah.
he can't do anything about it. Pretty cool. It immediately goes after Eddie's dad and his kid.
Right, which the symbiote may, in fact, kind of consider its own kid, in a way.
True. It stops their car, it instantly goes and takes his dad and goes into his brain and sends him to a quiet room where it can appear to him as Eddie and threaten him to never come near the kid again. And yeah, that's pretty scary.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, we get some more. You think you're getting some more catharsis between Eddie, like finally saying what he needs to say to his dad, but it ain't.
No, because it's actually the symbiote, and it takes the kid and leaves him back at the hospital and walks off, and the kid doesn't know that the symbiote is without Eddie until it leaves, and
Eddie's there.
And Eddie's still there at the hospital. He finds him lying on the ground with the Maker all strung up and stuff. Looks really cool.
Yeah, it seems like the symbiote used. Oh yeah, it's probably his webbing.
Oh yeah, it's webbing.
I always forget the symbiote has webbing that it uses.
Right, it makes webbing. I didn't think about that. I thought it just like ripped stuff out of the walls and shit.
Right. No, that dude can make a bunch of webs.
Oh yeah, so that's pretty cool. Kid wakes up Eddie, and yeah, we'll see how they do as the symbiote it leaves. It walks off into the distance, becomes some hooded figure lost in the crowd.
Right, it does the 80s movie ending of disappearing into a crowd in a hoodie.
Yeah. So we'll see about that.
In 3 months, because now we're moving to Venom is being taken over for the War of the Realms crossover, and Cullen Bunn's going to write it. It's just going to be event tie-in issues that won't have anything to do with the main plot.
Well, that's that is a little bit disappointing. Still, I thought this was a really good issue. I'd give it a 7.
Yeah, 7's right. It isn't as good as Venom could be, but still way above average, and one of the better things Marvel's publishing for sure.
Well, I mean, we got so much really good Venom with all the arcs that have been happening, and Noel and stuff, awesome. This is still good.
Yeah, Null, who who got a cameo mention in another comic this week, but we'll get to that.
Did it? Oh, yeah, you'll have to point that out to me.
Yeah, all right. So, moving on, we've got a new number 1. That's not really a number 1 because this comic has been running for a long time in various forms. The Goon by Eric Powell.
The Goon.
His famous classic creator-owned comic starring the big thug dude, the Goon, and his buddy Frankie? I think his name's Frankie?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So, this, from what I've read before, this was a pretty standard Goon story. Obviously, a million things have happened that I have no idea what they are, because I've only read, like, the first 20 issues or so of the original run.
Right, but they're just getting back, right?
They're getting back from some sort of big epic thing that was probably the end of the previous arc, where they did a bunch of important things and managed to, I guess, they thought, get all of the monsters out of the town where they live.
Right.
But now they come back to town, and there's still zombies and monsters, and they lay out a hilarious note. Like, they have the bartender dude at the tavern they go to, he just like starts listing off characters, and it's like, okay, here's all the characters we're gonna see in the coming issues, and yeah, just a couple of pages later, as they're being shown to various places they can live by the super creepy real estate agent.
Right, every place has a death curse.
Every place has a death curse, and you won't show them any place that doesn't have a death curse. And yeah, one of those villains shows up, Baby Galahad, the East Side Ghoul.
Baby Galahad, a zombie eater or something. Corpse eater.
Some sort of Frankenstein-y looking guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he fights the Goon, and the Goon gives him what for.
Yeah, he does.
That's what the Goon does.
Yeah, no problems. That dude is muscle.
Yeah, he's beefy.
Oh yeah.
And so they get a new spot in a old building where they get to rent out the entire top floor. The real estate agent hates it because it's like super clean and nice and no death curse.
Yeah, no death curse.
But they're down.
It's all boring.
And we get a little tease for the next villain, whose name I love, Vinny Nosferatu.
Right, Vinny Nosferatu.
Vampire guy. And yeah, it's just, it's good, fun comics.
The Goon is, he's a fun character.
Yeah, this was your first time ever reading some Goon.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like this issue gives you a pretty solid foundation for exactly who these characters are and what they do.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. The Goon, he punches things, he's muscle, and he's got this guy who talks.
Right, exactly. So I think this is also a 7.
Yeah, I'd give it a 7 as well. It was very enjoyable.
Very enjoyable. I think we'll continue with that.
Yeah.
Okie dokie.
So, the Immortal Hulk newest issue number 15, Al Ewing, Joe Bennett.
Yeah.
And jumping right in, this is concluding what happened last week when Agent Burbank shot Claire? Betty. Shot Betty through the head. Hulk comes out, shoots Hulk in the head.
Right.
And
with his 100 caliber.
With his 100 caliber. And then this guy shows up.
Yeah, Doc Samson, who I guess he was dead.
Samson.
I didn't know Doc Samson was dead, but I'm glad they explained to us why he isn't dead.
Right.
or they explained to us that he isn't dead. We don't know why yet.
Yeah, well, he's part of the club.
He's part of the Green Door Club. He's gamma irradiated, and apparently everybody who is gamma irradiated now is just like Hulk himself, where they just don't die.
Yeah,
it gets to night, and they come out in their hulked form, and Samson just happens to be the one of all the gamma irradiated characters who is always in his gamma irradiated form. He never doesn't. He just is big and has green hair.
Yeah, kind of like he has it's instead of going from one to the other, he's kind of at an in between all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so never as strong, but his mentality isn't affected.
Yeah, exactly. So he's pretty cool.
Yeah, he's
Seems
good.
Like a good guy. He's Bruce's psychiatrist.
Yeah.
And so he's trying to reason with the Hulk, but the Hulk hasn't grown his brain back yet, so that takes a little while.
Yeah, he has to hold him off. And you can tell he took a hit from the Hulk, too, because he's got a black eye. And that right there says something about his durability, that all he gets is sort of like a light black eye.
From a punch from the Hulk.
Right.
Yeah. Agent Burbank, he escapes. But finally, Hulk's brain grows back, and so he recognizes Samson. And they're cool after that.
Yeah, they start talking.
And Samson wants to go after Betty because where she was shot, now there's just some blood, and she got up and walked away, and they both know it. So he goes with the Hulk, he follows the Hulk, but then Hulk's like, nah, we're not going after that doesn't matter. We got other things to do because I'm the devil and I gotta destroy the humans.
Right, that was the big thing, is that after confronting Hulk, he's like, I know that the Avengers called you Devil Hulk and you responded to the name. Bruce always told me about the Devil Hulk as the worst Hulk, the one that if he came out, he would destroy the world. And Hulk's like, yeah, that's right, I'm the Devil Hulk.
Yeah.
And I do want to kill or end the world because the world's gonna end. And then we get one page of Al Ewing proselytizing about global warming and overpopulation and nuclear armaments, and he's like, Hulk's like, well, if I end the world, some people might live, unlike if you humans end the world.
Yep.
So there's
Hulk
that.
takes him to the grave of Rick Jones.
Good old Rick Jones.
Another one.
Yeah, the real Rick Jones. I guess the one he ran into in hell was Rick Jones. He just was dead and part of hell at the time.
I guess, yeah. I mean, they were all in hell, so he was there too, I guess. But now that they came back through the green door, I guess he gets to revive as well.
Right, yeah. It seems like it might be coming back through the green door that, or from going to hell is what triggered the effect in the other gamma radiated people.
Yeah.
It isn't super clear about when Samson came out of the grave, but I think with the timelines the way it is, it probably could be that
Right after hell.
time. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, this issue was pretty good. I'd give it a 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I give this one an 8, man.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, this is a good issue of Hulk for me. I have to...
Oh.
I'm tempted to knock a point off for Hulk being mad about global warming.
Yeah, I do.
But yeah, no, I really liked it. Good art, good action, good concept, continues the story, got a nice twist at the end, so now we have a good idea of where this story is going to go going forward. I'm not trying to get you to push your number up.
No, I'm not gonna.
But yeah.
My feeling was that as good as it was, it did feel like an in-between issue. We're going from something to something else.
Now that we only finally kind of know what this arc is going to be now.
Yeah, and not too much Agent Burbank, who we did find out is, I guess, a cyborg.
Yeah.
And not a mutant or something.
Which, yeah, that kind of maybe explains why he was, like, stuck on a loop with his, like, it's going to be, what does he say? It's going to be epic, or I'm going to get such a rush.
Gonna get such a rush. It's going to be a rush. Oh, man. Weirdo.
All right, we're going to round out the reviews this week with Guardians of the Galaxy 3 by Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw. In this issue, we got some Star-Lord being a megalomaniac while floating around in his Professor Xavier from the X-Men 90s cartoon chair.
Yeah.
Which is, I no longer think that Thanos is actually into him at the moment because they gave us the scene of him alone ranting, but he's affected, man. Like, he's in a bad way mentally.
Right.
We get a scene of Hela and the Black Order going after Annihilus.
Yes.
Because they took Thanos' head.
Yeah, they want the head.
And she messes up Annihilus pretty good.
Yeah, no problem there.
No problems there, exactly. And we see the evil team of Guardians with Gladiator and Cosmic Ghost Rider and Nebula going after Richard Rider.
Right. Which is interesting because Cosmic Ghost Rider is still kind of being teased as one of the regular Guardians in, like, the other photos.
Right, exactly. In the teaser for the cover of the next issue, he's back on the good guy team.
Right.
So they might not be playing their cards close enough to their chest on that character arc.
Yep.
But yeah, they're going after Nova because he knows where Gamma is. And we get this character, the Wraith. This is my first time reading about this character, the Wraith.
Okay,
but
yeah,
he's
I wondered.
Definitely a character who's shown up in previous Marvel cosmic stuff because he shows up as somebody people know. But the interesting thing that he mentions is, as I said earlier, he says to Nova, I search for Null, the Exelon god, so that I may free myself of his black curse.
Right.
So they're tying this character in, and it's Donny Cates.
Right.
So, he obviously has a plan with this, where, Null may, before he shows back with Venom, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Null show up in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow, yeah, cool.
And Venom was on the Guardians when he was Flash Thompson a couple of years ago. So a crossover between the two books with Cates' writing is almost guaranteed.
All right, nice.
So, yeah. Other than that, we get Groot taking over command of the Guardians from Peter Quill.
Yeah, stages a coup.
Stages it and takes the ship. And Peter can't do anything because he's just pretty much a normal dude.
Yeah, makes Beta Ray Bill his second in command, first officer. Awesome.
Yeah, and they also are heading for where Nova is heading for and where the evil Guardians are heading for, which is, what is it called? Half-World? Half-World.
Half-World.
Where Rocket apparently is. So maybe Rocket will show up in this Guardians of the Galaxy comic in the near future.
Yeah, that'd be good.
And Gamma looks like she's there too from the tease. But yeah, I liked this issue a lot more than the last issue.
This is my favorite issue of this run so far.
Lots of action, lots of characters, lots of stuff happening. The plot's moving forward. You got good villains, you got good heroes. Honestly, the heroes are kind of the weakest part.
But interestingly, yeah.
But the plot is good, and the characters are interesting. So this was real good. I'm going to give this a 7.
I'd also give it a 7.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Oh, it was good.
Like that Cosmic Marvel. When it's good, I need to read more of it.
When it's good.
All right. Well, that does it for this week. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Sam.
And thank you, Matt.
And we will be back with more reviews in the very near future.
Adios, muchachos.